Diet and supplementation regimens are getting way out of control.
Every 2 weeks, my team organizes all the pills. In between that time duration, we change certain things. And when we change it, it's a manual change. And these manual pills become my responsibility. So when I pull out my pill tins, I'll take the new manual ones we're taking. And then when the 2-week time frame comes, they'll be incorporated into the whole process. Yeah, you can see we're about midway through the 2-week cycle. So I have about a week left. These are my upon waking pills. Okay, now I have all these pills ready. So I don't know how many pills in here. I think last time we reported it was something like over 50, maybe 60. That looks like a lot more. So I'm not sure what's going on here. We have very little room for more before we need to change our pill tin.
And so because I've taken the better part of the last couple of years trying to take a more minimalistic approach to my diet and supplementation protocol, I thought this would be a good time to take a deep dive into my own supplementation stack. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, instead of just running through a random list of all the supplements that I take on a daily basis, I thought it might be a little bit more helpful to kind of divide this video into the times of day that I take my supplements, which would be the morning and the evening time. Now, I used to take a super complicated approach to kind of splitting my regimen through morning supplements and then lunchtime supplements and then pre-workout supplements and then post-workout supplements and then evening time supplements, but it was just way too much, way too complicated, and I think there's probably only a marginal difference between that and what I do now, which is just simply taking some supplements in the morning and then some supplements in the evening time. And so when it comes to the supplements I take in the morning time, the first one that I take is a protein shake, and this is typically a combination of 2 proteins in particular. One is a whey protein supplement, and the second one is a collagen supplement. Now, when it comes to the reasoning as to why I take a whey and collagen supplement in the morning, there are a handful of reasons. And the first one is just simply that I don't want to sit down to cook a pound of steak and eggs every morning. Now, in an ideal world, I would be eating steak and eggs and other protein sources that are a little bit more nutrient dense. However, because again, I don't want to sit down and cook every single morning, this is kind of like the compromise that I have made in order to, one, meet my protein needs in the morning, but also kind of meet that convenience factor that I'm specifically looking for in the morning time. Now, I know there are a ton of people out there that still swear by intermittent fasting, but it has been years since I've done any type of regular intermittent fasting or long-term fasting, and the main reason for this is that I just find it hard to maintain lean muscle mass when I am fasting on a regular basis. And I think one of the main reasons for this is that it's difficult to get in enough protein if you are eliminating meals throughout the day. And on top of that, if I consume a ton of protein or just a ton of calories in general in any one sitting, whether that be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I just feel super sluggish afterwards. And so I would rather not feel that way. And so because of this, I try to space my protein intake out throughout the day, and because of this, that means I'm getting a hefty dose of protein in the morning, usually between 30 to 50 grams, depending on what my breakfast looks like that morning. Now, the reason that I am combining whey protein and collagen protein is simply because they combine really well. They complement each other really well, and what I mean by that is that the amino acids that are found in whey protein in high amounts, things like the branched chain amino acids, as well as other essential amino acids, are found in high quantities uniquely in whey protein, whereas in collagen protein, even though collagen isn't relatively high in the branched chain amino acids or some other essential amino acids, it is high in the amino acids glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, which when you combine these 2 protein sources together gives you a really even spread of amino acids, and so combining them together just seems like a good idea to me. Now, I'm not sure how much this makes a difference, but I also try to use minimally processed whey proteins, things like raw protein or native protein, which are whey protein sources that are made without super high temperatures. And there's a theory floating around that when you process the whey protein specifically at higher temperatures, that it denatures the proteins and makes them more allergenic. And because autoimmune issues kind of run in my family a little bit, and I tend to get skin issues when I consume a ton of whey protein, just out of precaution, I've decided to kind of fork up a little bit of extra cash to get these lower processed whey protein proteins. And now when it comes to the collagen supplement that I am currently using, I for years used the Orgain collagen peptide supplement, which was pretty much the only reason I was using that was because it was pretty much the cheapest on the market. However, I've recently switched over to using Gorilla Mind simply because for two reasons. One, it also contains some type 2 collagen, which is fairly rare, and the other supplements that are on the market that do contain type 2 collagen are extremely expensive. And so Derek's collagen peptide supplement is pretty much the best priced collagen supplement on the market that also contains type 2 collagen. And the second reason is just that it tastes amazing. So it's kind of just a good addition to my daily regimen to actually enjoy the protein shake that I'm consuming on a daily basis. And so because of this, I really don't see myself switching back to any other collagen or whey protein supplement for that matter for the time being. But that's the first supplement that I take on a daily basis in the morning time. And the second supplement that I take in the morning time is a organ supplement. Now, because protein shakes are largely devoid in pretty much every other nutrient except for protein, calcium, and sometimes vitamin D, I do find it necessary to add in another supplement in the morning to kind of increase the micronutrient intake of my breakfast. And because of this, I take an organ supplement. Now, I know that organ supplements have gotten a terrible rap over the past year, especially after the Liver King came out as pretty much like the biggest fraud ever in the nutrition industry. However, I do think it's important that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in this instance, simply because organs are literally the most nutrient-dense food product on the entire planet. And so because of this, I do find it helpful to take organ supplements in order to increase the micronutrient intake of my diet. And now typically I'm taking roughly 3 to 4 grams of any given organ supplement that I'm taking at the time, simply because the conversion ratio of freeze-dried to actual meat product is usually 1 to 7 or 1 to 8, which means that taking 3 to 4 grams usually equals about an ounce of raw organ tissue. And so when it comes to the types of organs that I'm taking, I'm somewhat agnostic. I'm kind of all over the place depending on the month. Some months I'm taking a liver capsule, sometimes I'm taking a mixed organ supplement, sometimes I'm taking brain, sometimes I'm taking heart, sometimes I'm taking a cod liver oil, and sometimes I'm actually taking bull testicle, and not because of the testosterone content per se, but because of the micronutrient intake and the unique micronutrient intake that each of these organs seem to have. And so by rotating through these, I think all of them really have their place in a well-rounded and well-balanced diet. I think it helps to kind of increase the general micronutrient intake while also not just simply focusing on one organ per se. And the reason for this is that historically humans didn't consume just one particular organ. They would consume whatever they had available at the time. And so I tried to, again, mimic that in my own diet. Now, for years, I used to take a half of a dose of a multivitamin every single morning in order to increase the nutrient intake of my diet. However, as my diet got more and more honed in, I started to notice that it was just way overkill. I was getting far too many of certain nutrients through the multivitamin. So I find it far more practical to just simply take an organ supplement now in order to accomplish the same goal. Now, the next supplement that I take on a daily basis in the morning time is fish oil. And now there's a lot of guys out there that I highly respect that disagree with me on this. However, my personal experience has taught me far too much about fish oil to not take it on a daily basis. And the reason for that is when I take fish oil, I simply feel better. Now, the reason for this, I don't really know. It's probably because I've abused my body with omega-6 fats for so long. And so by adding the omega-3s in there to kind of help balance out the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, maybe this has something to do with the fact that it is helping to lower inflammation. And because inflammatory conditions do run in my family and I'm genetically predisposed to inflammatory conditions, by adding something like an omega-3 fatty acid through fish oil, it makes sense that something like this would help to improve my cognition, improve my mood, and just help me overall feel better. Now, in an ideal world, I would simply just eat enough fish to meet my omega-3 fatty acid needs. However, Personally, I don't prefer the taste of fish, and particularly here in Tennessee, it's fairly difficult to source good fish at a decent price. And the fish that you do source that is good quality is extremely expensive and is usually canned and usually doesn't taste as good as fresh fish. And so I've just simply opted to take a fish oil supplement instead to help meet my omega-3 fatty acids than eating bad fish. Now, whenever I bring up fish oils, there's always somebody down in the comment that is just declaring to everyone the gospel of spoiled omega-3 fatty acid supplements. And to some degree, this is true. There are a lot of bad omega-3 fatty acid and fish oil supplements that are out there. However, just because there are bad supplements out there doesn't also mean that there aren't good supplements out there. Just like how some food is bad, but that doesn't mean all food is bad. And so it is important to find a fish oil supplement that is good, that has a high standard for manufacturing, that does a good job at testing the quantity of the omega-3 fatty acids in the fish oil, but also testing the peroxidases, the level of spoilage in the omega-3 fatty acid, as well as the contaminants, because you do run the risk of kind of introducing contaminants, specifically heavy metals, into fish oil, because some fish do have high heavy metals. And so you want to make sure that you are buying from a reputable brand. And I, for years, have trusted Nordic Naturals, which does all of these things. They produce an extremely high quality fish oil supplement that I personally experience benefits from. And now I don't have any connection to them whatsoever, but I love their product and love talking about them so much that they're in this video now. And so that's pretty much it for my morning supplements. I take a protein shake, fish oil, and an organ supplement in order to kind of round out my breakfast. And then we go on to the evening supplements. Now, there are 3 primary supplements that I also take in the evening time. One is another protein shake. I do find that when I consume protein before I go to bed, at least an hour or 2 before I go to bed, it does help me to sleep. And so spiking the amino acids in your bloodstream kind of helps to suppress some stress hormones and helps give your body the building blocks it needs to recover during the evening time. So I do enjoy consuming another whey protein and collagen protein supplement in the evening time. And then besides the whey protein shake and the collagen shake that I use, which is again mixed together, I also take a magnesium supplement. And now I'm usually taking 100 to 200 milligrams of magnesium. And typically the form of magnesium doesn't really matter all that much. Now, people all the time get super wrapped up in what form of magnesium should I take. And to be honest, the evidence and the research up until this point has shown that there's very marginal difference between the absorption of citrate, glycinate, threonate, and all the other forms of magnesium that exist out there in the webosphere. But I personally take whatever's on sale at the local nutrition store that I shop at. And right now that happens to be a magnesium citrate. Sometimes it is a magnesium glycinate. Sometimes it's in a magnesium aspartate. But I also consume a magnesium chloride in my water supply on a daily basis, which is why I'm only taking 100 to 200 milligrams at night. And so because there is a little bit of magnesium in my drinking water, I do consume a little bit of magnesium through my diet on a daily basis. I find that if I take any more than 100 to 200 grams of any type of magnesium in the evening time, I'm going to get the runs. So I would rather not do that. And then the last supplement that I take in the evening time, aside from my protein shake and the magnesium, is L-Theanine. And this is a supplement that I have been taking for many years now. And the reason it's never budged from my supplement stack is for a handful of reasons. One is that it appears to be extremely effective at inducing relaxation without causing drowsiness, which means that I can take it in the evening time. And then if something pops up that I need to do, I'm not overly drowsy to the point where I can't do it. And it also doesn't cause any drowsiness the morning after. And because it is so effective, as well as pretty cheap, there's no reason, in my opinion, to not add it into your supplement stack in order to improve sleep quality. And there's a fair amount of evidence to suggest that it is effective at not just inducing relaxation, but also improving sleep quality, which, because sleep is so important to overall health and cognitive performance and physical performance, I'm trying to do anything that I can, dietarily speaking, to improve my sleep quality, and L-Theanine is one of those things that I do. Now, the typical dosage is usually between 100 to 200 milligrams. However, I personally find that I only need about 50 milligrams in the evening time in order to experience the benefits, and I'm always for the minimal effective dosage. And I also find that if I take 100, 200, 300 milligrams, which I've done before, it actually has the opposite effect on me and actually kind of gets me a little bit wired and makes it more difficult to fall asleep. And I'm not really sure the exact mechanism behind that. Probably has to do with the dopaminergic effects of L-Theanine. However, I do find that when I lower the dosage to about 50 milligrams, that it's kind of the sweet spot for me to help induce relaxation and, again, improve sleep quality without causing drowsiness the next day. Now, with all the supplements that I do take on a daily basis being covered, I also want to talk about some of the supplements that I'm no longer taking, supplements that I've talked about extensively in the past that I have taken. Some I have taken, some I haven't taken. However, for the most part, I have pretty much eliminated all herbal supplements from my supplement regimen. And the reason for this is a couple of different reasons. One is that I was experiencing some side effects from a lot of these supplements, namely ashwagandha and Tongkat Ali, which I've been very outspoken about the benefits of, and I do stand by those opinions to this day. I do think there are a lot of benefits to taking these supplements specifically for reducing stress and improving testosterone production in certain populations. However, if you're like myself and you have your diet honed in and your sleep honed in and your exercise regimen honed in, I just found that I wasn't experiencing the benefits that I used to experience from them. And I was also starting to experience some side effects. And so I've pretty much eliminated all the herbal supplements out of my supplement regimen for that reason, but also just for simplicity's sake. It was getting too much to manage the time of day that I was taking them, manage the side effects, but then also manage the cycling of when I'm going to take them, when I'm not going to take them. And so I just find it far more simple to just not take them. Now, again, for certain people that haven't got all of the other lifestyle factors honed in, these supplements can be a good addition. But again, for myself, they just weren't serving the purpose that they used to serve anymore. Now, I'm also not taking a handful of the amino acids that I've talked about in the past, things like taurine and carnitine, as well as tyrosine and creatine even. I don't take these simply because it's extremely easy to get these through your diet. And I find that if I'm taking these through a supplement, that I no longer try to prioritize consuming them through food. And so for me, it's more like just a psychological thing of knowing that if I'm consuming these amino acids as a supplement, psychologically, I stop trying to attain them through my diet. And so I would rather try to get these nutrients through my diet. And so because of this, I've also stopped taking most of the amino acids that I used to take as well. And then there's always the question of the pre-workout that I currently don't take right now. And now I've taken several different pre-workouts over the years. I mean, shoot, I've been taking pre-workouts for like almost 20 years now. So I've tried dozens of pre-workouts, but the most recent one that I've taken was Gorilla Mind, which obviously was a fantastic pre-workout. But I've also had this mixture pre-workout that I used to make, which was a combination of beetroot juice and citrulline and arginine, tyrosine, and cordyceps, which was a fantastic pre-workout for a long time. However, because of this more minimalistic approach that I've been trying to take over the years, I've also decided to kind of X that out of my supplement regimen as well. Yes, it worked to a degree, but I also kind of felt like I was experiencing somewhat of a tolerance to the ingredients, and so they would work for a little bit, and unless I was regularly cycling in them and working out without the pre-workout sometimes, and then would take the pre-workout some other times, unless I was doing that on a regular basis, I was developing tolerance to all of these. And so these days, I'm pretty much just consuming a coffee pre-workout, which isn't the most potent thing in the world, but it does the trick to kind of help me get motivated to get up and get to the gym or get to the home gym and kind of just get some work done. Now, I will say that if you were to look in my cabinet or in my closet right now, a lot of these supplements are still there. A lot of the supplements that I used to take, I've got literally piles and piles, boxes of supplements that I used to take and used to experiment with, and a lot of them did work for various things. However, because there's just so many possible supplements out there, I kind of just, again, decided to take a more minimalistic approach. And because of that, this is the supplement regimen that I have kind of honed in on. And now if you are interested in kind of diving into some more of the experimental supplements, or even some of the supplements that have good evidence behind them for various purposes, I would highly recommend checking out the Complete Guide to Supplementation that I finished about a year ago. It's an awesome guide that'll help walk you through all the most proven supplements that you can utilize and leverage for specific time periods to help accomplish various health goals. And so if you want to dive deeper beyond kind of just a more basic supplement regimen, I would highly recommend checking that out. But other than that, that's all I have for this video, guys. So I guess I'll see you in the next one.